Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. As you can see here on the simulator, we have this login screen running. And a few weeks ago, I released a video using parse as a backend to create a login screen. And a lot of people were requesting that I use FireBase instead. And I agree, it is more of the standard. So in today's video, we're going to look at how we can use the FireBase console and to create an app right here, and when we'll store in our authentication, we can store users by email and password. So let's take a look at the demo. So when you're first prompted, it'll say sign in up here, and you simply could sign in with an email and password. If you didn't have an account, you press this button and it'll push you into a sign up. And here we'll say something like testuser@gmail.com, and the password will just be testuser. And when we create an account, it'll push us into this view controller, and it'll set our title to the current logged in account, which is one we just created. And this button right here will represent our logout action. So now that we just created that user, we'll come over here, refresh the table. Right there you can see testuser@gmail.com. If we come over here and we click this, it'll say logged out, sad to see you go. And now we should be able to log in with that same email and password that we just created. So let's try testuser@gmail.com, test user, sign in, and there you go. Alright, so before we actually create our project, I just wanted to address something real quick. In a moment, we're going to use our terminal to install the pods for our FireBase. And to do that, we're going to use COCOAPODS. And basically what that is, if you come to COCOAPODS.org, you'll see that it's a dependency manager for Swift and Objective-C. And all that really means is it's an easy way to manage and install libraries and frameworks within your app. And I'm not going to address how to install this right now. If you want me to do that, just comment down below and I'll create a separate video just on that. But if you come up here to guides and about, I'm sure you can. It's pretty straightforward. You'll be able to figure it out most likely. So let's actually click on Xcode, and we're going to create a new Xcode project. And it's going to be a single view application, and let's just call it FireBase in all caps, and we'll create that. And now we're actually going to go back into Safari and come over here into our FireBase console and create a new project, and we're going to call it the same as our Xcode project. And then once it's done, it'll push you into this page right here, and you want to click on Add FireBase to your iOS app. So we'll click on that, and then right here it asks for your iOS bundle ID, and to get that you need to go into your Xcode project and make sure you're under General, and you just want to copy that and paste it into here. And then it asks for an app nickname and an app store ID, and those are both optional. So for right now, I'm just going to leave them blank, and we'll click Register App. And then it's going to tell you that to download this Google service-info.plist file. So we're going to click on this button. And I just wanted to show you something real quick. So I already had this file downloaded from before, but every time you create a new project, they're unique. So as you can see here, it added this too. So I'm going to drag this to the desktop, and I'm actually going to just change the name here. And I'm just going to delete this -2 like that. And now I can drag it into our Xcode project. So drag it in right here into the main directory of the project, like that. And now we're actually going to close this project, and we're going to search for terminal. And then once terminal opens up, you're going to want to go to the location of where your project is, and mine happens to be on the desktop. So I'm going to say cd desktop, and then if you hit ls, it'll show you all the files in that location. So right here we want this one, so cd FireBase in all caps, and then ls again, and you can see here's our Xcode project. So now we're going to install and create a pod file, and to do that we're going to say pod init and click return, and there it created one like that. So now if we go into our folder here, you can see we have this pod file. So we're going to double click and open that, and this is where we're going to add the pods for our FireBase. So the first one is just pod, and then FireBase /core, like that. The second one's going to be pod FireBase / auth, like that. And then you want to go File, Save, and you can close that. And then back in your terminal, we're just going to say pod install and click return. And you can see here it's installing all these different services and frameworks. And that could take anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes depending on how many you're adding. So right there, it installed 2 dependencies and there's 9 total pods installed. So now once we do that, we can close our terminal. And now when we open our project, we're going to use the workspace instead of the Xcode project. So double click this and open it up. And now we can actually start working on our project. Alright, so finally after all that, we can actually get to working on our project. And the first thing I'm going to do actually is I'm just going to delete this viewcontroller.swift file. And the reason I'm going to do that is I just like to create the new files myself that corresponds with the view controller. So we have a view controller here already, and we're going to drag in another view controller. And we're going to embed both of them inside a navigation controller. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to right click and create a new file. And it's going to be a COCOAPODS class, and I'm going to call it login view controller and create that. And then I'm going to do the same thing, and this time it's going to be sign up view controller and create that one. And I'll go back to our storyboard, and we just need to set the class of these view controllers to that. So this one right here is going to be the login view controller because we want that to show first. And then if the user doesn't have an account, this one right here is going to be our sign up view controller. And I'm just going to drag this over to here to make it a little bit nicer. Alright, so we're just going to make these UIs pretty simple. Up in the title here, okay, so now that we have our UI basically built, we're going to go into our app.delegate.swift, and the first thing we're going to do is import FireBase core, and then we're going to come down here inside our did finish launching with options, and we're just going to say fir app.configure, and that's just going to configure FireBase every time the app is ran. So now let's go back into our main.storyboard and click on our login view controller and open the assistant editor. And we're going to control drag and create an outlet, and we'll say email text field, and then we'll control drag and say password text field. And then we can close the assistant editor. And now there's actually one other thing we need to do in our storyboard, and that's simply just to drag in a third view controller. And what this is going to be is once our user either logs in or signs up with a new account, that we push this view controller. So we're also going to click and embed this inside a navigation controller, and then we're going to come over here and we're going to create a new file, the COCOAPODS class, and we'll just call this one main view controller and create that. and then just in the storyboard, click on the view controller and set its class to main view controller, like that.